There are only really two good pieces of news from the weekend for the 49ers. Number one, defense played great. And if this team is going to go anywhere this year, it's going to be because their defense plays great. Because this offense is going to be a work in progress going forward no matter what. We know that. So defense played great. That is officially good news. And it is definitely officially good news that the 49ers are not 0-2. Over the last 3 NFL seasons, 27 teams have started their seasons 0-2. All 27 missed the playoffs. The 49ers are not 0-2. The Raiders are. What a gut punch.
No, that's not a gut punch. That's a self-inflicted series of wounds that, frankly, they deserved.
I mean, deserve, I don't know, but...
Don't go up 20-0 against a bad team at home and then get outgained in the second half by such a margin that the Cardinals had more yards after halftime than the Raiders did the whole night.
Wow, that's bad. I didn't see that wrinkle to it. How it ended, obviously, was a disaster, and I can tell you this, that the Raiders, in their entire career, their entire franchise history, no matter where the franchise is, have never reached the postseason after an 0-2 start, and that's where they are. So,
well, here's the other one on the 2-point conversion after the score that was going to cut it to 8. Kyler Murray ran, according to NFL's Next Gen Stats, ran 84 yards.
Yeah,
to gain 3,
and that's what a running quarterback does. He runs to either extend a play or evade the defense. They don't use Kyler Murray like a freaking battering ram on the castle's front gate. And that's the way Kyle Shanahan went about using his quarterback in a running game. And it doesn't make any sense to run your quarterback like that. Everything that Trey Lance was supposed to represent has officially now been tarnished. And there's no denying that. Questions about Lance being the guy are now totally grounded. You have every reason in the world to question that. Remember, they went to Trey Lance because Garoppolo essentially couldn't throw the ball very well and couldn't stay healthy. Well, Trey Lance officially now lives in that neighborhood of doesn't throw the ball well enough for his coach to trust him to do it. And he's had 3 injuries now and 4 starts, and a rookie year officially doesn't come into year 3. So if your whole point of, well, we're going to bring in Trey Lance and we're going to build a monster around him because we're going to have a quarterback on a rookie deal, you are 3 years into that window. The development of Trey Lance, I mean, we just don't know. He's damaged goods. And if he's a running back coming off of, or if he's a run-first quarterback, which means you never draft a run-first quarterback. You can't succeed in the NFL with a run-first quarterback. That's been proven infinity times. If you have a run-first quarterback, well, now your run-first quarterback is coming off of a completely compounded fracture. Well, no, it's not. Compound means the bone popped out. So I guess it wasn't a compound fracture, but it was a total break of the fibula with ligament damage. So the timeline to build the monster around his rookie contract is over. The hope that he is just going to be supreme athlete to get you out of all your problems, I don't think you can really count on him being a quality power runner anymore. You shouldn't have counted on him on being that in the very first place. And look, Shanahan has completely stopped coaching Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I guess he's going to pick it up now that he sort of has to again. But this guy's running scout team. Like, he's not even taking backup reps. There is no backup getting backup reps. And you can really make the argument that since Jimmy Garoppolo got here, he never really improved a day under Kyle Shanahan. He never improved a day. As a matter of fact, I thought that this answer from Jimmy Garoppolo was pretty interesting yesterday when he was asked, like, what's it like to be back? And, well, here's what he said first of all.
Just like riding a bike, yeah. It felt good to be back out there. Feel terrible for Trey. I've been on that side of it. This league is tough, and everyone has their share of injuries, but that sucks for him, and feel bad for him. But he's our brother, and we'll pick him up. I saw him for a quick second after, wishing him well. Like I said, I've been there. come full circle in this thing. And it's tough whenever you see a guy get hurt. You feel for him. But Trey's a tough dude. He'll be all right.
So says all the right things, and I'm sure everyone, whether they believed it should be Jimmy to be the quarterback or Trey, is on full what a crying shame for Trey Lance, because it truly is. I mean, the man's career is now, whatever it might have been, it might not be. I mean, that's all I can say. It's impossible to look at him as anything other than damaged goods. Because he is. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not trying to be rude or crude or nasty about it. He has the type of an injury that is officially a bad thing to have. Whenever football players, whenever your sport is built around your athleticism and the power that you generate through your legs, so I guess this would apply probably to the NBA as much, NHL. Once your ankles, your feet, your knees, and your hips go, you are altered. And this is a serious injury. This is a catastrophic injury that has the man shut down for a year where he was desperately needed to develop. Anyways, here is where Jimmy, I think, might have told us something without trying to tell us something when he was asked about getting back in there and just letting her rip.
Ecstatic. Yeah, just felt good. We were talking earlier, kind of felt like 2017, where it was, just go throwing, make plays. That's what I like to do. It's different than what we usually do around here, but sometimes you need to do that.
Again, I like throwing it and making plays. That's really not what we do around here. That's an indictment on Shanahan. And if I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not dancing around Kyle Shanahan in a way that I'm trying to perfectly land my sentence and be careful that I'm not insulting my coach. Because if Kyle Shanahan had his way, Jimmy ain't here anymore. Jimmy's not here. Kyle Shanahan made a decision. Do I want this guy as my quarterback? 100%. I do not want him as my quarterback. I do not want him on my roster. That was Kyle's decision. So he gave up on this player as humanly possible. And now Jimmy's saying, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of 2017, where I just got here. And this guy's anxiety and desire to control and manipulate every single thing that happens is so ego-driven that I basically got whip scared. Like Kyle Shanahan's whip hand is so significant that he whipped the instincts right out of me. I came here looking to make plays, throw the ball downfield in 2017. By the time Kyle was done with me, I was like a battered woman. I didn't know how to find my own voice anymore. That's what he's saying. Hey, when I got here, I played like that. And then we really don't play like that here, so I had to stop playing like that. That's what he's saying.
Well, whatever he thought was going to happen when he got here, I mean, that's as much, him not knowing anything about the coach he was inheriting, because nobody knew anything about what Kyle Shanahan wanted to do. But as
he wanted Kirk Cousins, which again brings us right back to quarterback evaluation.
Well, it's not even a question about quarterback evaluation. It's a question about the law of unintended consequences. You can plan all you want. You can draw it out schematically. You can put, pins up on a board. But ultimately, football is a series of accidents. And the truth is, it's as true for Bill Belichick as it is for Kyle Shanahan. The difference is that Belichick had one thing he could always go to, which was one extraordinary player, and he could double that down with a great defense. The 49ers don't have that extraordinary player, but they have that defense. And ultimately, this could end up being a very good team, not because Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Trey Lance or vice versa. It's because the building blocks of this team are basically running the ball and defending the other team so that it can't score. Maybe that's the lesson here, that the outlier for championships is still Kansas City. That the thing that gets you by more often than not is keeping the other guy from getting 17 points.
Well, that's the way they're going to have to do it.
I'm not giving Kyle Shanahan credit for that. I'm just saying that based on all the plans that he says he's had, well, none of them have really come to happen the way he meant them to, except the defense. And whether or not he's the defensive coordinator or not, he's still the guy who brings those guys in. So maybe his genius, if there is genius here, is that he knows how to build a defense. Maybe we've been barking up the wrong tree the whole time.
Well, then why even have a defensive coordinator? If that's his side of the ball, because it's not. That is
maybe he
revisionist
doesn't
history
know
looking for a
that's his
compliment.
side of the ball. Maybe that's his general managing skill, is that he can find guys who defend. I don't know. I mean, I'm done trying to evaluate what Kyle Shanahan is and what he isn't. He might just be the luckiest SOB there is.
Right, and here we are. Now, was this year 6?
Yeah.
Don't you think we should have sort of our arms around what he is or isn't by year 6?
No, I don't know if we should or not, because A, we've all assumed things that were never in evidence.
Who gets a 6-year window of, I don't know.
Well, a guy who takes a terrible team and gets to a Super Bowl and then a conference final in 3 years. That's the guy who gets 6 years. If they don't go to the Super Bowl in his 3rd year, maybe he's fired after 4. I mean, that's another law of unintended consequences. The 49ers have been a bizarre, merry accident for the last 5 years plus. And this is the biggest accident yet.
And it was an avoidable accident. Again, anyone could get hurt on any play. It is a collision sport. It is a brutal sport. Football is here to destroy everyone who plays in their body. It's what it does. It erodes your mind. It erodes your body. Football is officially bad for you. You can get hurt anywhere, anytime. The problem with the play was it coming in on the headset. Kyle cannot send that play into the huddle. It is irresponsible to send that play into the huddle, and he can try to frame it around, well, here's what he said about, you got regrets on that one, Kyle?
Anytime a guy gets hurt, I wish I didn't call that. But no, that's something we were going to do, and something we would continue to do. That's a football play we believe in, and something that gives him a chance to be real successful in this league.
It's the most honest thing he said all day, because he actually did it again with Garoppolo at the end of the game to score a does not matter except for how the score reads in the headline the next day. The game is over, and he's got his backup quarterback, who is now his full-time starting quarterback once again, and he is slamming Garoppolo into the heart of the Seattle goal line defense. Why? You don't have any other way to pick up 3-4 yards? You're not some offensive mastermind. What happened to play action on the goal line? Oh, Dwelly's totally open in the back of the end zone, like every single play action goal line play that's ever been run since the dawn of goal action on the play. The tight end the tight end's always open on a goal line play action play. Always, forever, 100% of the time. Slight exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. Where is the creativity in any of this red zone offense? Where is the creativity? Where is it?
The creativity, to the extent that it exists, and everybody who is a football nerd about this says so, it's in how he designs his running game.
All right, but that's just use check into the guard's hiney. I'm watching here. Here's the thing. I'm watching the entire offensive line. Am I seeing counter trays? Am I seeing pulling guards? Am I seeing all this razzle-dazzle? You don't have time on a goal line to run offensive line razzle-dazzle. That is power football.
Okay.
And when they get into power football, they seem to stall. They seem to kick field goals. Do something. Go 5 wide at the 3-yard line. Pretend you're Kansas City for just a minute. If you want to run your quarterback on a quarterback draw, spread out the goddamn defense so there's not 9 guys in a box, and have your quarterback walk into the end zone behind your center.
But he's not Kansas City. He doesn't think like Andy Reid. This is how he thinks. This is Kyle Shanahan. This is what you got 3 years ago. This is what you got last year. This is who he is. And I think when he decided to draft Trey Lance, he saw in him a guy who eventually, once he became a trustworthy thrower, he could be something other than that Kyle Shanahan. And it turns out either he guessed wrong, or Trey Lance is a slower developer in that area of his game than we thought he was, or maybe Kyle Shanahan just believes in running the ball, period.
All right, we'll use running backs to do that, period.
Well, his best running back is gone for the year.
Jeff Wilson Jr. looked every bit of, I got this, coach. Every bit. He was fantastic. 5-6 yards a pop. Nothing was in his way. Keep running the ball with your running backs. You have a quarterback you're trying to develop into a pocket passer. Ask him to make some passes from the pocket. Move the pocket if he's such a good mobile quarterback. Somebody says here on the Comcast Business text line, Damon, does Kyle get any credit for at least having the foresight to keep Jimmy on the roster? No! No! Kyle had no foresight to keep Jimmy on the roster. Jimmy just stayed on the roster. Kyle did everything, including calling his own agent and saying, trade him for a bucket of balls. We literally have no options left as a front office to trade him. So, Don Yee, you find whatever deal you can, get him out of here. Don Yee's like, can't do it. Nobody's interested. So, by default, by nobody in the NFL being interested, Jimmy just happened to stay here. Kyle did everything. Forget about what he says. Actions. Every single action of Kyle Shanahan was, this guy's off my list of guys I want on my team.
And again, that's why I go back to the law of unintended consequences, which is through no credit of his own, he's backed into a decent quarterback situation, at least for this year, which is all you can worry about. You can't worry about the offseason.
But he can't claim it's a decent quarterback situation. It's one that he was running away from.
It's not a claim. I'm not saying, boy, he really thought of that as a brilliant thing. The only thing he did was notice, you know what, I can't move him anyway. And we're going to have to pay him $7 million. And I don't like Nate Sudfeld, and I don't trust Brock Purdy. He's here, what the hell? That's an accident, too. This is not about foresight. This is about waking up and finding a horseshoe in your pants.
I'll tell you where this does come to. Is that a horseshoe in your pants? You're just happy to see me. By the way, the Colts could use a horseshoe in their pants. But look, I'm not second-guessing Kyle Shanahan here. I've been first guessing this is the wrong way to play this quarterback since the Arizona Cardinals game last year. You can't drop the North Dakota State game plan on the NFL and expect to get away with it. It's not going to work. It's not going to translate. By the way, we're officially streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I believe Willard left it up in here. Let's see. That's the most amount of people I've ever seen watching whatever the hell this is. You are looking at a lot of beef between Ratto and I this afternoon.
Gristle.
Yeah, it's well marbled would be a good way to describe this show.
It's just stuff you can't chew. I think everything about this is an accident. And if we're worried about how Kyle Shanahan's vision is, his vision is, oh my God, something else weird happened. Now what do I do? Maybe he's just a great improviser. Maybe he's just plain lucky. But remember,
maybe he's just plain unlucky, considering not a single guy on his team basically can play 10 weeks in a row without ending up in the hospital.
Well, I don't know that they're the most injured team in football because I haven't looked that up.
Sure feels like it, though, doesn't it?
Well, it feels like it because that's the team we look at. But I'd be willing to bet there are other teams that have as significant an injury list as the 49ers do. The point is, over the last, 2 of the last 3 years, they were a Super Bowl contender. This year, they might be one again. This is week 2, and we're losing our minds because there's supposed to be a grand plan, except that there isn't.
Well, the grand plan is chaos. The grand plan has been
blown to smithereens.
Exactly. So and that's bad.
No, that's not necessarily bad. Maybe it works out through no planning of anybody's. Embrace the chaos. Embrace the accidents.
Then the single most important part of the decision-making process of the San Francisco 49ers is a surgeon
Neil Elatrache.
Shoulders.
Know that name.
Thank God for that guy.
Well,
Joan and payroll and the shoulder surgeon.
Well, Jimmy's still going to get paid now. He's going to make all those bonuses.
Oh, he's going to have them all. Again, if I'm Jimmy today, I'm saying rip up this new deal. It's nonsense. You pay me in full like you were supposed to. If I'm Jed York, I'm seriously calling Sean Payton. I really am. This is enough to make me give up. To lose an awful lot of confidence in Kyle Shanahan in so many different places, I might give Sean Payton a call, and I also might cross my fingers and wait for Lamar to hit free agency. Because I don't think it's going to be Jimmy. I don't think it's going to be Trey Lance now, unfortunately. And I got a better head coach and a better quarterback who might both be on the market. One definitely is on the market right now. The other might be on the market. And 15 more Ravens games. And again, and now you're in the same running quarterback situation where that guy might get hurt. So maybe that's not the best idea. But anyways, I'm just trying to.
There is no great idea. Everything is, you walk down the sidewalk looking down. Maybe you come across a $20 bill.
I'm sorry. 49ers third-round rookie running back Ty Davis-Price has a high ankle sprain and will be sidelined for a few weeks. It's typically a 4 to 6 weeks injury. Of course he does. Of course he does. He wears a 49ers uniform. Like, here's the scary thing. Talanoa Hufanga's so awesome. Like, by process of elimination, there's no way he makes it past week 6. Like, he's so good. Anyone who's so good for the 49ers gets hurt in the next 4 weeks. It just happens all the time. Unbelievable.
It is an even-numbered year.
It was a rough Sunday on frickin' ankles. Good Lord. By the way,
maybe it's that terrible artificial turf in Levi.
That's not it. We're brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall with over 400 Google reviews, the highest rating of any BMW dealer in the Bay Area at 4.8, baby. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit. We asked a lot of people to book a visit with us by calling 888-957-9570. This is David in Brentwood. Hello, David.
Hey, Damon. Ray, good afternoon. There's a couple of things with Kyle and the way he's calling the game. Honestly, I think he kind of painted himself on a corner by trying to be too smart for his own good. Because at the end of the year, for starters, Jimmy signed up for one season. Okay, after this is done, there's no way that he's going to want to come back and play for Kyle. I mean, he's not going to give him a second chance for the guy to screw him a second time. And Trey Lance, I don't think that Trey Lance is ever going to trust this guy ever again, not 100%. So he's in a situation where he's either going to have to just draft another quarterback.
Yeah, all data points are bad. David, I'm sorry, I got to you late in the segment, but when we come on back, if you're on hold, we're coming to you. If you're on hold right now, you are going to appear before we get to 4 o'clock. At around 4 o'clock, 4:15, we're going to have the Kyle Shanahan conference call that he's on right now. I wonder, who's got their knives out for Kyle Shanahan? It feels like everybody, and rightfully so. There's an awful lot of questions going on about the very next head coach the 49ers are going to face, Nathaniel Hackett. Can that guy coach? Now, we think we know that Kyle Shanahan can coach, but is he the right guy to be coaching this team? Does he have a feel for his own roster? Does he have a feel for his own quarterback room? Does he have a feel? I don't know. I don't think you can make the argument, yes, he definitively knows the best thing for his team. Because if he didn't think that Trey Lance was the very best pocket passer for his team, he shouldn't have been named QB1. He should not have been. He should not have been named QB1. Where was a quarterback competition in the preseason? Where was one? Where was a legitimate quarterback competition? Or it was just, hey, I made this pick on Lance and I got to be right because I'm the head coach, so I'm going to have an inferior player be named QB1 to feed my own ego. It's insane.